everybody. I wanted to come out with another video during the international break because there's not that much to talk about on the Chelsea front. However, one exciting thing that we do have some time to talk about is Nicolas Jackson. I think so far there is a lot of surprise about where Nicolas Jackson is at. He came in for a modest fee with a modest reputation. If we think back to last January, he nearly joined Bournemouth. And I think a lot of us were like, well, we'll see what we get out of him, but we'll probably go buy another striker. And then preseason happened, and he scored a lot, and he set up a lot. And so far the scoring hasn't really come in the league, but I think it's going to, and there's a couple things that I really like to see. So first off, on the left, we have Jackson's wheel from McClockbot from Chicago Dimitri. Again, check it out. And there's a lot of things to like. Shot volume, super high. And non-penalty expected goals per shot, very good. The total volume of expected goals, super high. This is not what I was expecting. You can see on the table on the right, his non-penalty expected goals, including his time at Villarreal. And Chelsea is 0.56. If you just look at Villarreal, it's a little bit lower. Decent proportion of self-created shots, which is nice. You don't want this to be super high. It's probably a bad thing for your attack. You don't want it to be super low because it means they can't do anything on their own. But in between is quite nice. The dribbling has been very surprising to me. I was expecting someone to be a little bit more transitional, less toolsy to create on their own. The turnovers we can talk about. The defensive work, very high. And then this has been kind of a very big surprise to me is the creation for others. Very decent passer. Very decent linker. We'll look at some video and talk about it. Very surprising to me that this has turned out and that the volume has been as high as we have seen. On the right, you have his FB ref table. So this is in the last 365 days. So from October or from September of his La Liga season to now. The non-penalty expected goals and the non-penalty goals are elite. Very high, which is great. So far at Chelsea, his shot volume has been much better than this, which is really nice to see. I'm very curious to see if it continues against stronger opposition, realistically, than who Chelsea have faced so far. But given that I think he might thrive a little bit against teams who press more, who are more open, less defending in a block, I think this might actually tick up even more. And if Jackson is just going to be a four shot a game striker, that's a huge boon for Chelsea. The shot creation for others has been really nice, like I said. And again, a lot more in possession than I was expecting as a passer, as a carrier, as a dribbler. Very good involvement in box shots, very defensively active. I'm pretty happy with what I've seen so far. So on the video side of things, we'll look at some of the shooting stuff because some of the movement he has to get shots off for himself is crazy. So again, looking at kind of his FB ref stuff, on more specifically 65th percentile for shots. This is much higher during his time only at Chelsea. Again, a lot of this is just noise, but you can see he's doing vaguely the right things. Very high shot quality, which is nice to see. So here's every shot he's taken in the regular season at Chelsea, so not including preseason. So you have in the cup game a great little combo, works the angle to get there, and then gets the shot off. Really happy with that. He's done a very good job picking up the bits underneath teams, which has been very surprising to me. We've seen this a couple times where runners run beyond him, and then he picks up the loose balls. Like here, he picks the loose ball and tries to fire one off first time. This is probably a bad shot. Like this is one where I'd probably rather him gather and then try and dribble to score or to slip a runner, especially right off the kickoff. But this one I really like. Sorry about that. This one I really like. Watch his movement to set himself up to get him behind. So the cross gets cleared, immediately gets himself onside, seals the defender. Look, you can see the little shove on the defender. Seals the defender, boom in behind, snapshot. takes it quickly, doesn't lose any more angle, right? A lot of we would see going further to the end line. Really, really nice. Here's another one. So if we remember, Luton played a back five. So there's their center back, jumps out to Enzo. I don't know why he jumps out to Enzo. Jackson immediately peels into the channel he vacates, tries to fire one across the face, right? This is an interesting one because the probability of scoring here is very unlikely, but the chance that you pull it or there's a rebound is quite decent. A lot of times I think we would have seen with Havertz last year, he probably would have pulled this back out to reload. And I'm actually quite fine with Chelsea turning a lot of these half chances and just banking the shots and seeing where they go. Here's another one. Slips into the channel. Right, this one he tries to work the space. And this is kind of where I thought Jackson would fall down. Is right, like you have the center back step, so obvious pass into the channel is there. But the defender does a really good job to cover, right? He takes away the space. They're in an awkward spot. He doesn't really have the option to go. Here, maybe we might see he just shoots it right away. He doesn't. He's going to square him up. He's going to work the space. He's going to try and bring a runner in. Right? In an ideal world, I think he shifts it and slips for Enzo. But he shifts it, works enough space, shot gets blocked. Fine. And then his goal, this one is a lot more fortunate than I think people want to admit, right? Like, he doesn't make a good run to get across the front of the center back here. He also doesn't double move to open this space. He just gets quite fortunate that the cross takes a deflection and ends up perfectly for him. But I'll say he did beat the second center back to the spot, and that is valuable. Here's West Ham. Ball goes wide. Oh, shoot. Ball goes wide. And as it arrives, he doubles up his movement between a lane. Again, I don't love this, and he's probably a little bit fortunate that this just comes into the perfect channel for him. What I'd like to see in this moment is for him to make this run in front of Zuma, I think it is. Right? Is ball comes, can you make this run to the near post and drag him so that they can 2v1 the second center back here, or you just win it at the near post to finish. I'd probably like to see that a little bit more, but it's quite nice. Here's another one. He has these, like, I don't even know how he does it, but there's so many like moments where the ball just falls kind of weirdly, and he gets like a decent shot off from this. Again, it's probably one where like you'd rather him bring somebody else into the play, but he gets a shot off out of nothing. And those are, it's not an amazing chance. Like that might only be like 0.07, 0.08 XG maybe because it's on the volley, it's 15 yards out, whatever. But over the course of the season, if you're picking up one of those every 2 games, that normally just turns into nothing. That's like 4 goals over a season, 3 goals over a season, something like that. And so stuff like that actually really matters in terms of just banking value. This one, these couple clips against Liverpool I really, really liked. So he shows to try and combine in the wide area. As soon as he recognizes James and Sterling are just going to play, he starts working the inside shoulder of Konate. Again, he gets a little bit unlucky with the poke. This one, watch the double move. So Colwill turns his defender. He starts making the channel run. Boom, pops out. He's just worked that extra yard of space. Great touch. And he's in. Okay, gets the left-footed snapshot off. Again, these are not amazing opportunities, but they're good. And if you're going to get 4 good opportunities a game, that's really, really nice. And something Chelsea have not had. Chelsea have very much been a low-volume, extremely high-quality chance team for the last few years. This is not that. This is some excellent chances, but a lot, A-space-L-O-T, lot of good chances, which is nice. And again, he pulls it a little bit, but there's many days where he picks the post off this. This one is magic. Okay, so I talked about this a little bit after that game. Watch the double move here. Ball goes wide. Yes, Konate, I'm peeling between you. No, I'm not. Right? At full speed, I'll let you have it one time. Boom. Like, that is high-quality striker play. Of course, he should score the chance. It's a big chance. It's great movement, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's really, really nice to see on the shooting perspective. And then here's a transition one. right? He's going 1v2 in the transition. This whole time, this whole run, he knows that he cannot bring anyone else in, and he cannot wait for a second runner. He is just going, how can I get a decent shot off of this? So he doesn't try to cut inside to get to his right foot. He keeps it outside on his left foot, and he gets a good but not great 1v1 from the angle. If he tries to cut inside, he loses his 1v3, the chances are gone. And so again, I say, this is another example of him turning chances into good chances, not great ones, but lots of them. And that's nice to see. Dimitri put together these finishing dashboards. Again, on McClockbot, I would highly recommend you check it out. On the left, you have his Chelsea one, only 374 minutes, so we'll talk about some of the limits of the small sample size. On the right, you have his Villarreal stuff. So if we look at the Villarreal stuff, the green pops out to you, which means on a per-shot basis, he's scoring quite above his expected goals. We already knew this. Probably unsustainably so. Nobody goes 50% over their expected goals, not even Messi. To me, the thing that's really nice about this is the volume of shots in the middle of the box. Between these two circles, you're probably talking 1.5 to 2 shots in the middle of the box every game, which is really, really nice to see. At Chelsea, even better. That he is taking more than one shot a game inside the middle of the 6-yard box is amazing. This is so good. If you are a Chelsea fan, you should be so happy that he's getting in here. Okay, yes, it's all red because he's only scored 1 goal from a little bit over 3 expected goals. That's fine. Nothing to worry about. But he's taking 8 touches in the box. He has extremely high shot quality, and he is taking shots in terrific areas. So this is really, really positive to me from a chance creation perspective. So the other thing to talk about with Jackson is his channel running and his play linking. And this is stuff where I thought he would skew much more towards channel runner than towards play linker. And that's actually been quite fun to see the opposite, or not so much the opposite, but both. On the passing perspective, all of these numbers are good. They have all come up at Chelsea, right? If we look, okay, he's at 0.17 over his time between, or 0.12 over his time between the two. At Chelsea, that number has come all the way up to 0.15. These are little things, or it's not that big a deal, but over the course of the season, maybe it's 1.5 assists. It's not a lot of crosses either. It's a lot of play linking. On the possession side, this is where I think he's shined a little bit. He's very good going at defenders 1v1. I'll show some clips which just very, very much surprised me. And he's getting on the ball in the box all the time. This number is almost 8 at Chelsea. And again, some of that is the nature of the opponents we're playing. But nonetheless, very, very content with the dribbling into the final third, into the box, the running in the channels for the progressive passes received. It's all been very, very good. On the video side, right, he receives this pass. Again, I thought this was a player who would probably take this touch past him into the channel and try and cross. Does a great job to square. I think the best decision here is for him to try and slip Sterling between the two defenders. Okay, doesn't see it, doesn't come off on that one. Fine. Here's the next one. Sorry. Sorry. Here's the next one. Rolls the center back. Again, he receives back to goal. How many times did we see this last year? Striker receives it back to goal. Center back absolutely hammers him. It's either a foul and the play is done, we get nothing out of it, or this is a turnover going the other way. Rolls him. Now runs at the fullback, draws, right? You can see he's waiting to draw this player and slip Gusto. Wins a free kick and somehow gets booked because he protests for the yellow. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one because Jackson comes really deep to get it sometimes, and I really don't like it in general. I think, like, you can have other players come do this. Like, we can have Jackson come get this, or Gallagher, or sorry, we can have Enzo or Gallagher or Caicedo come do this, or we can have Raheem Sterling come link play here, and Jackson can get in the box. However, A thing that he does very well, comparatively, is roll people. And so watch his entry pass, keeps the ball, shields the ball. Right, this is like number one. If you get turned here, like this is actually quite a dangerous transition. He does a very good job of not getting turned, or losing possession here. Rolls him, he's into the next line, and now you end up in this great moment where he can again play the 2v1 that we just saw in the clip before. Doesn't come off, whatever. Here's another one. Entry pass, roll, does a great job to win and play away. Play, get into the next line. Boom, roll again. This time the defender recovers really well. Boom, roll, wins a yellow card. And again, these are little details, right? We saw this. It was really nice when we had Abraham here, because Tammy Abraham was actually of a weirdly similar mold where he was a massive human being and was very quick. And he also had the strength to roll people. It wasn't the best part of his game, but it was something he was very, very good at. Again, I don't really know why he's not at Chelsea anymore, but this is something I think Jackson does really well that we've missed, and was like a peak Lukaku thing as well. This clip is a little bit different. So a lot of them you've seen so far, it's like he receives ISO'd against the center back, and he's rolling into open space. So it's a touch around the corner, it's a touch to separate. Like here, it's control, touch to separate, goodbye, great little reverse step over. This clip is different. Okay, so first off, nasty entry pass from Disasi. He's tried to play a cool little flick around the corner for Chukwuemeka to then go into the box. I always prefer in this situation just play Enzo and then you make the run in depth and Enzo slides you and you score a breakaway. Fine. Sorry. Okay, instead he plays and spins and collects a loose one on the edge. Now, from here, this is all like winger stuff, right? Like he's ISO'd against the center back in the channel. He squares him up with a little like hesitation touch, which I quite like. This is surprising to me. I didn't really think he had this in his game. Squares him up, creates enough separation to get to the end line, and then he realizes, actually, I haven't beat to the end line, and takes a touch towards goal. This is really nice, because if Chukwuemeka recognizes earlier that he's going to beat him here, he's arriving for a finish, Enzo's arriving for a finish. Right? If he recognizes, he's going to beat him, he's getting here to score this goal. He doesn't quite get there, they deal with it fine. But in general, very, very impressed by the dribbling from Jackson so far. Very impressed with the shooting so far. That's my take on it. I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season goes for him, particularly as Armando Broja comes back from injury. So I'm very curious to hear what other people think, especially with Ivan Toney and the whole being linked with Chelsea in January. I think it's kind of unnecessary given what we're seeing here. I'd like to see Jackson make that role his for the season. But let me know what you think in the comments. Tweet at me, whatever you want. And enjoy the rest of your international break.